Hi guys, welcome to part 2, meeting my reptiles. Starting with another snake today, the second snake I own, and his name is Monty, or the full name would be Monty Python, because Monty is a ball python. So today I'm going to teach you a little bit about ball pythons. We're also going to meet the other two animals you haven't met yet, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's get close up on Monty here. I'm gonna set him down and let you get a good shot. So Monty, like I said, is a ball python. And the reason these snakes are called ball pythons is because their defense mechanism is to roll up into a tight ball and protect their head, which is, of course, the most important part of their body because that's where their little brain is. So as you can see right now, he's kind of wrapped up in a ball, but Monty's pretty comfortable with me and with my mom, who's lovely and helping me film this right now. So Monty's not so afraid. He's got his head exposed right now, which means that he's in a good mood, he's exploring, and he's not using his defense mechanism this moment. So maybe not the greatest example of a ball python. Come on, Monty, be a better example. Just kidding. So here's Monty. If you watch him move around, you may notice that Monty may have a little bit of a wobble to him. He's not giving us a perfect example right now, but sometimes when he picks up his head to look around, there it is a little bit. When he picks up his head to move around, he goes upside down like this, or he wobbles his head a little bit. Now, as cute as this is actually a problem. Snakes are not supposed to do that. So his cute little trait is what we call a wobble, and it comes from genetics. So for you young kids, this may be a little bit sciencey for you, but you can kind of compare it to dogs. A lot of dogs get bred for certain traits, for longer fur, or for shorter tails, or for a certain color. Same thing with pythons, or any reptiles really. People can breed them for different colors. As you can see, Monty's this beautiful kind of buttery yellow color. He actually matches our kitchen very nicely, but I put him on the blanket here so you can see his color a little better. But Monty is this special color and this special pattern because of genetics, because of the way he was bred. And when he was bred to look this way, it came with a problem. So he has that wobble problem, which means that it's actually an issue with his nervous system. So he has trouble keeping balance. He doesn't really know when he's upside down like this. He thinks he's still right side up. So sometimes he needs a little extra assistance. He's kind of a special needs snake. And this can be an issue in the community with reptiles of overbreeding. So part of the reason I have Monty is he was a rescue. He was very sick when I got him. I nursed him back to health. And then I also held on to him because I didn't want anybody to breed him with another snake. I don't want them to pass on this trait to another snake just because it looks pretty. I want to make sure that we're taking care of our animals and not giving them neurological problems. So he's a good teaching tool to show people why a spider gene, that's the particular gene that makes him wobble, isn't really worth breeding into an animal. That's what created these neat markings on him. You'll see that his spots aren't really spots. They're kind of these weird speckled splatters all over him. That's that spider gene. That spider gene combined with his pastel yellow color and this sort of pinstripe he has down his back. Those are his genetic, we call them morphs, that make him look so pretty. But that spider gene that makes this interesting pattern came with the price of his wobble. So Monty's a special boy. He helps teach people why we need to be careful when we're breeding animals and really think about their health first. But he's also pretty darn cute, so I love having him around. He is a great snake. Like I said, he's a ball python. Ball pythons make great pet snakes. They're usually kind of shy, quiet animals. Like I said, they are often wrapped up in a ball. When they're in their cage, they like hanging out inside of little caves or hides that you give them to sneak inside of. They don't need a lot. They're very easy to take care of. But they're really cool. If you kind of look up at his face, we'll see if we can get him close to the camera. They have these heat pits around their mouth. It looks like they have all these extra holes. And you'll see he does have nostrils too, like we do in our nose holes. But he's got all those extra heat pits around his mouth. Looks pretty neat, huh? They actually are a very helpful tool for him. He uses that tongue of his nostrils of his, and those heat pits, all together
to help him get around and catch prey. So he has a very, very good sense of smell. That forked tongue of his helps him kind of taste the air around him. Those heat pits help him sense changes in temperature and look for hot animals that are hiding in the grass. And then his nose helps him smell too. So he's got like super smelling between all those different tools that he uses. He does have those big eyes too, but actually ball pythons don't have the greatest sense of eyesight. They actually have no eyelids. If you look real closely, he doesn't blink. Snakes don't have eyelids. They have this special scale. It's clear and it goes over their eye. We call it an eye cap. So even though you can't see it, there's actually a clear scale that covers his entire eyeball on both sides. So when they shed their skin, that eyeball cap sheds too. It looks pretty crazy. I'll see if I can find a picture to add to this video so you can see what it looks like. But that's what protects their eyes. So instead of an eyelid, they have that scale. Pretty neat. That's one of the main differences actually between snakes and lizards. If you'll notice when you see my lizards that I show you, most of them blink. Many lizards have eyelids, but snakes do not. Interesting fun fact. Another fun fact is that he actually has leftover legs. Would you believe that? Look real close here. Right here near the end of his tail, he has these two little claws. Can you see those on the video? They're called spurs, and they're actually little claws, just like you would see at the end of a lizard's toe. These are left over from snakes' ancestors many, many years ago that actually used to have legs. So even though you can't see the legs anymore, those little claws still remain. Pretty cool, huh? So they don't do much anymore. They're pretty tiny. In fact, they only really use them for one thing, which is mating. But other than that, they're legless. Neat, huh? You never thought some snakes had claws. Not all snakes have them, but ball pythons are one of the cool ones that do. Well, Monty, you've been a good guest today. Thank you for behaving. Like I said, not the greatest example of his defense mechanism, but an example of how sweet and friendly he is. Let's go on to our next animal. All right, guys, for this animal, I actually had to come to the cage because this animal doesn't come out very often. This is Tokay, my Tokay gecko, and Tokay geckos are actually nocturnal. So since we're actually making this video during the day, I'm interrupting her sleeping time. Nocturnal means she sleeps all day and she's awake and she hunts at night. So she might be a little grumpy. In fact, she might be very grumpy because these geckos are actually considered the most aggressive geckos in the world. They are notorious for being mean and they bite people. I never suggest these as a pet. She came to me as a rescue also that somebody couldn't take care of anymore. So I decided to take her in and I've spent a lot of time getting her comfortable with me. So she does let me hold her now. But this is not the usual style. Most of the time these geckos won't even like to be held. So I do not suggest them as a pet. Just enjoy mine. And let's see if we can get her to come out and play for a minute. All right, guys, this is Tokay, the Tokay gecko. As you can see, ooh, she's hard to hold still. She's very small. She's very quick. And she's very blue. When these animals are upset, they actually turn a darker gray blue. I'm going to kind of hold her with her head covered because it's bright out here right now. So she's actually a little bit in the middle right now. She can get brighter, but she can also get darker. Her color changes on her depending on her mood and on her temperature. So they're normally a very bright light blue color with bright orange spots. Right now she's kind of in between. She's a little dark because she's upset that I woke her up from her nap. But you can see her head has kind of lightened up a little bit and is closer to the normal color. See that? See how her head got nice and bright? Isn't she beautiful? So she's a hunter. She loves to hunt crickets and bugs at night. Occasionally she'll eat a little bit of fruit, but it's pretty rare. She prefers bugs. Now I keep calling her a she. If I were to have a boy Tokay gecko, it would be much, much larger. They can get very big. In fact, they can get probably 2 or 3 times the size of her. You can kind of see how big she is there when I have her against my arm. So she's a pretty small Tokay gecko. Healthy size for a female, but the boys get much, much bigger. As you can see, her little fingers have sticky pads on them and little claws. That helps her grip onto anything. In fact, she can even stick right onto the glass of her cage. She can climb straight up walls. She can be on ceilings. Those little sticky fingers let her go anywhere she wants.
Like Velcro.
Like Velcro, yeah. Hi, sweetheart. You're doing such a good job. Thanks for helping us out here with our video today. I think she likes the attention.
I'm cutting away here to a video I have from another day because I caught Tokay drinking water, and that's something you don't see every day. These geckos don't like to drink water out of a dish like a dog or even some of my bigger lizards. These lizards prefer to drink water off of leaves or falling water droplets. So it's pretty rare I catch her drinking water off of a leaf like this, and I thought it would be neat to share it with you.
So these Tokay geckos get their name from the noise they make. Funny enough, these geckos can make noise. They bark. They make these sort of noises. And the males actually say, Tokay, Tokay. And that's how they got their name, is from the sound they make that sounds like Tokay. So she's a female. She doesn't make that noise, but we do hear her bark sometimes when she's angry. Thanks for hanging with us, Tokay.
All right, guys, we're outside for this part of the video because this animal's pretty big. Meet Charmander. Mwah! He's my Argentine Tegu. And I'm going to let him walk around the yard a little bit and get you guys better acquainted with him. One second, let's get him down on the ground. Like I said, this is Charmander, and he is my Argentine Tegu. And you may notice he's kind of a rusty red color. That's because he's a red Tegu. Tegus come in a couple different colors, black and white, red. Colombian Tegus can be gold, but I think his red rusty color is pretty darn cool. He's a little dustier colored than usual because he's getting ready to shed. He's a little brighter, actually kind of close to that towel color when he's not shedding, but he's still a handsome, handsome boy. So I keep mentioning the word shedding. Reptile skin can't stretch and grow the way that human beings do. So when they need to grow, they have to grow new layers of skin. The old layers of skin then come off in dry pieces. It doesn't hurt. It's just part of growing. Now back to Charmander. Tegus are omnivores, which means they eat a mix of fruit and vegetables and meat. In this clip, I'm hand-feeding Charmander, which is one of the ways that I gain trust and bond with him. He's eating kiwis, a little bit of baby food actually, it's bananas and blueberries, and then I also mixed in some dog treats, but they have to be special. Tegus can only really eat raw meat. They're not meant to eat cooked meat. So these treats are made out of freeze-dried raw fish.
Come here.
I'm sure by now you've noticed those big cheeks that Charmander has. They're pretty cute, but they're actually giant muscles. He's got big muscles in his jaws to help him eat his food, but they're also to help attract a mate. For male tegus, they have much larger jowls than the females do, so it's actually a way for them to show off for the ladies. Hey, Charmander. As you can see, Charmander likes to use his tongue a lot to sniff out where he's going. A lot like snakes, Argentine tegus have forked tongues. It's a little hard to see in this video, but I can put in a picture for you. That super sensitive forked tongue helps Charmander smell for prey, dig for bugs, and basically look for anything he wants to look for. Now, as you can imagine, a big lizard requires a big house. So he lives in a big enclosure that's about 4 feet wide by 8 feet long and 4 feet tall. Tegus require a lot of special requirements for light, heat, substrate, which is actually like the mix of dirt and mulch that's on the floor. So make sure you do a lot of research before you get a Tegu because it's a little bit complicated to keep them healthy and happy. Even though Charmander has a pretty big enclosure, it's important for him to get out and get some exercise. So whenever the weather is nice, we practice putting him on his leash and we take him out into the yard and let him walk around, enjoy the sunlight, and stretch those legs. When the weather's not as nice, he gets to walk around inside the house. But sometimes I find him taking a nap instead. Thanks for watching and getting to know my reptiles. If you have any questions about Charmander or any of the other animals that I taught you about in these last 2 videos, I'm happy to answer your questions in the comments below. If you want to get into some other reptiles or get more information about the ones that I just told you about, I highly suggest checking out this channel on YouTube. Clint's Reptiles is awesome. He's got super in-depth videos that are great for kids all the way up to adults, depending on which videos you click on. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a great time learning more about reptiles.
Oh, it's my baby.